I'm back. Let's go. Welcome to Last Chance Q with myself, Coach JB and Sean Salisbury.
We will not talk over the amateur or under the expert.
It's not only the X's and O's, but it's about the Jimmies and Joes.
And it's not just quarterbacks. We got all the positions, teaching, coaching, laughing, and joking.
We're using football terminology so we can get through this faster than we don't want to use these long terms, Coach. We got quick verbiage to get to the point. Last Chance Q with the great, legendary Sean Salisbury. What up, man? We're in the building. It is a fun day, Sunday fun day on the best NFL pregame show on Planet ERF. And we got a loaded one today. We're going to break down all games, morning and afternoon, plus Monday night slate. And we're going to get that going with the best picker of them all, and Jeff Nadu. And then we got the best analytical genius, former ESPN, USC legend, NFL quarterback, Sean Salisbury will be joining us as well. So all that is brought to you by BetUS. Head on over to BetUS today, as they are a proud sponsor of this show and the Coach AB show, along with Big Smitty. Plus, Jeff Nadu's show is coming up soon as he gets ready to get college basketball going, as he's one of the best college basketball pickers there is. All brought to you by BetUS. Head on over there today. Use the promo code CoachJB and get you 150% bonus on your first deposit. So, without further ado, let's bring in our main man that I'm honored enough to do this show with every single Sunday and bringing you this real, raw, and uncut information. Plus, we got film from DV Sport, so shout out to DV Sport for allowing us to show the NFL film when we do decide to start breaking it down as we get into the middle of the season. So without further ado, Jeff Nadu, Sean Salisbury, bring them in. What up, fellas?
What's happening, man?
What's up?
Hey, Jeff, I know right out the gate, you want to announce something that the public has been kind of...
Well, yeah, the betting public is killing it. And look, as someone like myself who doesn't bet many games that the public's on, I'm losing.
Explain that to the casual, because
essentially what that means is a lot of the most bet teams are winning, right? The normal gambler is just walking into the casino and betting stuff. He's winning a lot. The people that do this, that bet it early each week, are losing, and taking a lot of sides like I am, that are just coming up short. That said, I will continue to stick with how I do things. I'm not going to let a week or two change the way I gamble. Long term, the way I look at things, I think the way the smarter people look at things is the way to go. There are going to be weeks, though, where the public wins. What I'm kind of saying is, for instance, the other night, the Rams were a kind of downtrodden team. They were playing a really good team who had just one loss. The whole world was on the Vikings. Look what happened. The number comes down right before the game. So you just got to stick with the system you're running with and keep going.
Long grind, man. Well, the betting it is. The last week was rough Sunday, and then even NFL wise. And I think it's a hard win on a regular basis. You're going to take some shots to the face in gambling, but I'm not a guy I don't react to the market every day, like looking at it was up 5%, it's down 3%, it's up 120 points, it's down 60 points. I don't look at it. Same thing with betting. Over the course of time, I go with what's helped me win. And in the process of it, I'm not changing because of some knee-jerk reaction or a week or two bad. I'm in it for the long grind, and the long grind,
exactly.
You never go broke taking a profit. So if you're winning in the long grind, I ain't changing because something happens. Because the second you change and get off what you believe in, as long as it's worked for you, then all of a sudden now you're where's Waldo? You don't know what the hell you're doing.
But Sean, also it's important to realize there's a reason that Las Vegas casinos around the world have been profitable year after year since they've been created. So again,
method, man, they stick to what they know. And
the public gambler is gonna be happy, like a lot of the people that watch this show. But again, they're gonna get it back soon. And I get a feeling today there's gonna be a lot of bad teams hanging around in games. And they're going to break a lot of people's hearts.
Yeah, it's
You
interesting.
bet the favorite all the time, you're eventually going to get caught, man. That's just the way it works. Just does.
John, you ever been? Somebody told you're long in something? I didn't know. I didn't know that. I thought they told you.
I mean, I don't want to brag right now, brother. I don't want to have folded in eights, you clown. Okay, there you go.
All right, man. Hey, real quick.
JB's more intrigued with my package than the Zoids are. You know what I'm saying, Jeff? What's up with JB?
Yep.
Hey, Jeff had some Zoids last night. Jeff had some Zoids on Twitter.
I saw him freestyling last night at a party with the sunglasses on. There you go.
Had a little sister.
It's too much
her
for
perfume. I can still smell her perfume.
Man,
nice.
Hey, it's not Badussi, right?
No.
What's wrong with you two, man?
Hey, real quick, I got a poll question for you both.
Speaking of polls, what a nice transition, JB. Nice segment.
Today, your college coach of the year is Jeff. Go.
It's not even close.
It's Kurt Signetti. It's not even. Yeah, that's a simple answer. And let me tell you something. Yesterday was hold on. Yesterday was a prime spot to drop the ball. Right, backup quarterback. A decent football team in Washington coming in, and they laid the wood yet again. They had another defensive touchdown. This team is just a machine. You got to give it to him. Look, I'd also maybe throw in Sataki. He's been really good out of BYU.
He's been great.
Listen, shout out to Colorado. Bulgeable. They're rolling right now. They look really good. But Indiana, Signetti, I don't think it's close.
You better include A&M's head coach in there as well.
I'm about to say that
he's done a hell of a job, and he's been there as a defensive coordinator. Went and took care of his business at Duke, and now is back. And he did a great. Down playing his backup quarterback, not worrying about what people say. Put him in a game, and look how it turned around. To me, though, Signetti's won. I don't know how he's not.
Let me ask you something.
Sataki's in this conversation, so I think A&M's the only undefeated team in conference, aren't they? In the SEC.
Now
I think they are after last night. I think so.
Yeah, 7 in a row since Notre Dame lost. Notre Dame looked good, blowing out.
I thought Navy'd keep that a little closer, but they did a great job defending the option, and they piled on points. My
argument is Kalani is a good friend of mine, obviously at BYU, who's done a great job there. He'll probably play in that title game there in that conference. Iowa State and Campbell's done a great job as well, but Narduzzi at Pitt is quietly 8-0, and they just beat the shit out of a pretty decent Syracuse team.
I'll tell you what,
he's in the conversation as well, no doubt.
He's got to be.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. My fault.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, speaking of Pitt, a huge game next week. That SMU team, another big win last night. They're 7-1. Rhett Lashley doing a nice job. Here's what I will say: I cannot wait for Miami to play a real fucking team. I cannot wait. That fucking team, I'm done with them. I'm done. I haven't bet on them. I've just been watching them. Sean, JB, they are going to get punked against Clemson or anyone, whenever they get to the playoff. That team's a fucking phony. I'm telling you.
I just think Sean
the quarterback's a playmaker, though, man.
We were high. I know you were high. I was about to bring that up to you real quick before we move into NFL. I know you were high on him, but he's very, very – he misses a lot of layups, Sean.
No doubt.
I don't know how high I am on him anymore.
That's what the difference between when you're playing in a big game that Jeff's talking about.
He also looks like a quarterback that was an incarnate word at times. There's no doubt.
There is no doubt. What I mean by playmaker is he makes ordinary throws look extraordinary because they should look easier. That's the point we're making here. And misses some throws that you need to make in a game against Clemson when Klubnik's going to be more accurate with the football. I'm talking about he does find a way, though, to make after throwing 2 picks, to throw 3 touchdown passes and keep it going. And you guys know you cannot win anything in college football when it gets down to it unless you are physical at the point of attack and a playmaking quarterback. And so we're going to find out but he can't miss those throws against Clemson unless, of course, their quarterback misses those throws as well. So there is no doubt. And I'm anxious to see how they are against the big boys. And we're going to find out soon, but they've gotten more physical this year. And that's tribute to, we know that their head coach loves to, as an offensive line guy, he wants to be physical at the line of scrimmage. You got to have a playmaker quarterback. And getting back to A&M real quick, think about, when we're talking coach of the year, Signetti, and we've talked about Narduzzi and all over the country, and you met Rhett Lashley, but when you think about and Sataki, but Mike Elko as well. Think about the conference he's in. And Wigman has not played good football, and he was a highly recruited guy at school. Gets hurt a couple times. He's playing a freshman backup who's feeding against an LSU team who's obviously they turned over Nussmeier 3 times in the second half. That guy's played really good football. So Elko's got to be in the talk because of the conference he's in, and nobody, their A&M's supposed to hover around the middle waiting for them to explode on offense, knowing the fact that he's got their defense playing great football right now. Mike does. So, but I would go Cignetti first because that's no longer this year just a basketball program. They're rolling, man. They really are.
I'll just tell you one other thing off that, just to update people. Your favorite in the Heisman, Dylan Gabriel, Cameron Ward, Travis Hunter, Ginty now 4 choice. Ginty's out. Bye. See ya. 33 carries. JB, it's sad. You're right. I mean, the guy, run for 130 yards. That's a bad game. They did a nice job. Shout out to Barry Odom. He did a nice job against them with Boise. They did lose, but he did a nice job. Ginty's out. He's done.
Well, because he didn't have his 230-yard average yesterday.
No, he had 33 carries. He had like 4 yards of carry.
Unbelievable. Hey, Sean, when I know that they can't throw the fucking ball and they have no receiver and I'm going to load the box as UNLV did, I actually watched that game in particular, and I can't wait to talk tomorrow about it. He's by far the best player in college football. By far. It's like I'll be honest, Sean. You and I know we got eyes and we know what NFL backs are. This motherfucker's getting hit in the thigh pad with a helmet and fucking putting his left hand on the ground and fucking going for 12 more yards.
I'm surprised he hasn't been injured yet.
Like, he's an NFL back. I'm just telling you, I haven't really watched him to that fucking real coaching eye, Sean. I watched the other day. He is fucking legit.
I've watched him 3 times now, and the first guy rarely brings him down, which is a sign of a Sunday player. And you're right. Every time you play them, you are guarded against. He's bringing down. He's got to bring his own blocker on a regular basis because they really got numbers against him, and he finds a way to step through the stuff. He's not going to win it because. And hey, think about that. You're running against 7 and 8, 9-man fronts, depending on your formation, if it's spread or if it's tight formation. That 130 yards he got against UNLV is 190 or 200 against a team that's not stacking.
And by the way, guys. And by the way, Jeff, understand, it's week 8. The fucking book is out on him. I'm loading the box. That's all they got. He continues to get 100 yards.
I hear you.
You're not understanding.
Listen, I'm not. This whole time.
Not you. I'm just saying in general. I don't get it.
I agree. He's a terrific player, and we have to start talking enough about Boise State is running back now in the NFL. They have 4 kids in the NFL. They're about to put another one. Listen, I hear you. The problem is Dylan Gabriel continues to play really well. Hunter's back in the mix now that Colorado's playing so well. You still have Cam Ward. I hear what you're saying, but we don't want to go down this road. We've talked about it many times. Let's just see how it shakes out. We got a lot of games today, JB. No crappy London games. That said, Germany, I think that's back in a week. What was it? Panthers, Giants? That's going to be a real barn burner for the Germans. A lot of games today, JB.
Yeah, Germans love David Hasselhoff, too, by the way. Maybe Hasselhoff will be there to ring the bell or whatever they do before a game in Germany. I love it.
I'd come home because you're 80 years old and you're a lot older than me. So when I'd come home and watch you play, at SC, I'd come home. I was in elementary school, and then I'd come home and I'd turn on and I'd watch David Hasselhoff run down the beach.
Why wouldn't you? Then follow that up with Kid.
Yeah, what a weird thing to say. Out of everything in that show, that's what you pointed out.
Yeah, what's crazy? So you watch me and Hasselhoff. Wonder what you were hammering one out to, brother.
Kind of gay.
Nice,
yeah.
Great.
Hey, Sean.
I said Pamela fucking Anderson, bitches.
Oh, your ass. You said David Hasselhoff first. Salisbury and Hasselhoff. What a thing to hammer one out to. Appreciate
Sean.
Share it, dog.
I got to share a funny story with you.
And are going to church. Way to go, JB. What's that, Jeff?
I got a funny story before we get started, Sean. I have a friend. He's a dear friend of mine. He told me when he was growing up, he hated you as a quarterback. And it wasn't because you were a bad quarterback. He just didn't like you as an opposing fan. But he just texted me, he said, Salisbury's headset is classic. He looks like a fucking pilot.
Damned right. It's because the sound, people these days have that, the Bluetooth and all that drives me nuts. I like the old school, You know, I feel like I'm on the side of me and Billy Packer getting ready to call the Final Four. Good gracious.
I love it.
Let's go. Does he love me now, or is he still? Why would he hate me? I'm a nice guy.
I don't know. I think he just didn't like. You played for the Redskins at one point, didn't you?
No, that was Gannon. Rich Gannon did. I did not play.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him. I don't think I've ever asked why he hated you. I think it was just I don't know. He just didn't like
Jeff,
it.
if he has the wrong guy. Hey, Jeff, if he has the wrong guy and he thinks that Sean's Rich Gannon, you need to bring him on so I can absolute motherfuck him. And call him absolute
no, I think I'm getting confused. He was
Rich is
I just know he said he didn't like you, but he said he really enjoys you on this show.
Oh, thank you. And tell him I appreciate it. Hey, he's not the first one who didn't like me.
Say, hey, Sean, do you know I'm undefeated versus John Elway, motherfucker?
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
Yeah, well, really? And then the Elway brings out his gold mustard-colored jacket and says, do you have one of these, Sean? Yeah, in my own closet that I patched together myself, right? I got my high school jersey retired. That's as close but I'll take the wins anyway I can get them.
Did you beat him in high school? Did you play him in high school?
No, I beat him in college on the game of the week. And when he was at Stanford, when I was a sophomore, he brought out the best in me for whatever reason, was a player of the week when we played him in the NFL. So, yeah.
So you beat him once in college, once in the league, or twice?
As a starter. Well, we beat him when I was in Seattle as well, but Dave Craig was the starter. So, been fortunate to have some good fortune against a guy who I hold in the highest regard as a talent and a football player. And he's a great friend of mine. And John and I have had some great laughs over the years and stuff. You know, real quick, we'll go. I asked him one time, you know how we try to figure out all the reasons why guys come from behind. John and I are having a beer at a golf tournament. Might have been Bledsoe's tournament in Idaho, but we were sitting there. And I said, John, what is it? This was years ago. I said, I was trying to get a young guy who admires John. You know, we were both playing in a league. And I said, what is it that makes you that if you're not even playing well for the first, at times when things aren't going well, that in the fourth quarter with a minute and a half or 2 minutes to go, something kicks in? I said, I was looking for a scientific answer, the depth of why he was so good at it. And he said, well, Sean, the first time I did it, everybody said, oh, cool. And I looked around, and then after that, the next time we did it, everybody kind of looked around the team and him and thought, well, this is just who we are. We're going to keep doing it. And so it just continued to happen. So people counted on him after the second time. It wasn't anything scientific. He didn't change his mentality because he played, focused the entire game. Just something kicked in where the expectations of his teammates after they did it twice, and from then on, 50 more of them or whatever it was. And I just am like, man, isn't it awesome to see? I mean, sometimes the explanation is really simple. You're just a talented SOB like John and has guts, the guts of a daytime burglar and the balls of a burglar, and goes and kills it. So you're looking for all these great. Sometimes the answer is not scientific. It's just the guy's a phenomenal talent who knows how to win and plays better under pressure. And that was John, man. He's phenomenal.
It factor, right? It factor.
That's it. And he's got whatever that is, whatever's in the ingredients. He's got it. But tell your buddy, thanks, man. If he's watching right now,
he is. Yeah.
I love my Philadelphia family, even though they could be harsh on you. That's a place that would have served me well because I like they don't like excuses, and they like you to go out and play your ass off. And I loved playing against them because the fans were just as physical against us as the team was. So I love Philly fans, man. Thanks.
Hey,
I'm
Jeff,
a Bucks Philly guy from way back when too.
Nah, I love hearing them stories because Sean and I talk about those all the time when we're drinking, Sincoro and shit at Pat. Pat said, "What's up?" By the way, he just texted me. He's getting a new place, so I'll send it to you.
Oh, is he? Sweet. Well, we got to make a return out there as soon as possible. So let's go.
Yeah, I'll let you know if you're invited or not.
Okay, I appreciate that, man. Thanks.
Let's stop. Hey, Jeff, real quick though, BetUS is a sponsor of our show. We're trying to get a big time deal with them going forward for the next few years. Make them the best offshore book there is. And they hit me up, Jeff. We did a deal as a trial deal, and I basically picked a lottery ticket. I put a lotto ticket in as the young Bailey who runs the show behind the scenes has said before. And I did a lottery ticket before this game, and basically picked all but 2 games for a $50 buy-in, which would be, if I win, would be about $175,000. But
damn, you might bankrupt them.
Pay for that yacht, dog. Pay for that big ass yacht you're going to go on again today. That boat, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little cloudy, Sean. I only go when it's blue skies. So
do you fish? Do you fish?
I do, but I haven't done it yet on the boat. I'm gonna license the boat instead of individual. So whoever comes on the boat can just fish, and I think it's like $1,000 instead of $150 a piece every time you want to for the year. I'm just gonna license the boat. So if cats want to throw their rod in, that's what she said. Then they just throw it in. You know what I mean?
I feel you, dog.
I don't know if
You
I
won't
ever
come out today, though. You won't come ever out, but
of course. Well, I'm not America's guest that just shows up when I'm not invited, but that's cool. No big deal. Oh,
I don't know if I ever want to go out on a boat with JB because he might remind me of my father a little too much. You know, JB's like a father to me. I don't have my dad anymore. We used to go out on his boat all the time. So maybe JB, you could be my surrogate dad.
Let's do it. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, you
now, if I inherited you from my wife, that wasn't. I would have to give you up. But it's different though.
You two, as father and son. Should Leavenworth be waiting?
Hey, Sean. I worked for a coach, Sean. Hey, Sean, I worked for a fucking coach that was unbelievable. He was an asshole, but he would get on you and he would tell you. He was like, you know what, Sean? If you and Nadu had a kid, you would have JB. That's what he would say. Just as an example.
Right.
Like we had a coach that was just an analytical guy, and he broke everything down. And then you had me, the go-getter recruiter, but I was a little unorganized, sloppy. I was just throwing shit at the wall to make sure I got the best players and everything. He's like, you two need to fucking morph and have a kid.
Right. Well, you two wouldn't be at Leavenworth, but I'll damn well tell you, you'd be an overnight lockup. I promise you that. And number two is, if you two had a kid, it wouldn't be me because I'm not nearly as fucked up as both of you guys are.
Yeah, that's true.
Some would argue, I guess.
All right, let's dive into it. We got a great lineup today. We got a big-time show. Got a good slate going on, and it starts right out the gate, Jeff. I know this line's moving around, Jeff. Titans, Lions. Lions, man, put it on them last week. They beat the Vikings in a great game. The Titans, I picked as a lock pick to cover +9 against the Bills and got absolutely fucking destroyed. So this game has me kind of teeter-tottering, Jeff. The Titans got to bounce back and show us the defense they supposedly were going to have. But they're 1-5, Jeff. Sometimes in the NFL, when you're 1-5, you're just 1-5 for a reason. The over-under is 45. It's a 12.5 line spread right now, and the Titans are +12.5. Where are you at with this one? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was with you last week on Tennessee. You look at the half, they were up 10-7. Then they got outscored 27-0 the rest of the way. Just a really pathetic gut punch. And you look at really, it's the offense, okay? You no longer have DeAndre Hopkins. Calvin Ridley hasn't really been a factor. This offensive line has been really bad, guys. Bottom 5 in the NFL in pass blocking grade on offense. They can't protect the menial quarterbacks that they have. Turnovers have been a problem. Mason Rudolph had another one last week. He actually played pretty well, though, otherwise. Here's the problem, guys. When you're laying double digits in the NFL, this is a stone cold, Sean, sandwich game. Okay, you just come off the game last week in division for the Detroit Lions, a close win. Next week, you got Green Bay on deck. Again, it's out of conference as well. This is just a game where I think you come in a little sleepy. We could actually get 13 right now at BetUS. I'm going to take one last shot with Tennessee here. I'm going to hope this is like a 21-10, 24-17 type of game. I think they can come through, hang through the back door. I'm going to lean on Tennessee's defense, man.
I would do the same if it was in Tennessee. And I know home field may not mean as much, but I had Buffalo beaten up on Tennessee last. I don't trust their offense 1 ounce. They're going to go into a loud environment. The best team in the NFC, and they can make an argument as the best team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions they are in the conversation, playing defense, great offensive line, 2 guys that could rush for 1,000 yards, a quarterback who deserves MVP talk. They got everything you want, and a coach that people will do whatever you need him to. I mean, he'd play if he could. I'm just telling you, when it's this high a line, they know I don't see how Tennessee does much, and you're just hoping that their defense can cause a couple turnovers. I'm going to go with the same philosophy I had Buffalo. I think Tennessee's a bit putrid. I don't think many people care about their football team right now. I'm going Detroit, and I'm going Detroit. This is damn near feels, even with that spread, they're in my almost lock of the week because it's so blatant. I think this is an ass kicking. I do. I don't think this is close.
I will say this is one of the most bet games on the board today. A lot of people are on, and for good reason. I mean, Sean, you made a lot of good points. Throw in the fact the Detroit Lions are really good laying points. They generally take care of teams like this. Again, though, this is a lot of points against sandwich spot. I'm just kind of hoping that Tennessee comes in with a little resurgence and maybe the Lions are looking ahead a little bit.
Yeah, where they're looking for energy after a really good football game last week too, which was a hell of a game against the Vikings.
Hey, right. Jeff, my picks are going to be exactly what BetUS is that I made on BetUS today. So I'm going to go just give you what I've already done, and I picked a lot of basically the over-unders is what I basically picked with them. But I did take the Lions on this one to cover that 13 on BetUS. Just because I think they're rolling right now. James Williams is out as a receiver. That's the other reason why, on the flip side, thinking outside the box, why the Lions score even more. They're going to have a couple young wideouts there that are pretty up and coming that I think are going to actually get the ball more because they won't have a Jameis Williams. They're going to focus on St. Brown, and it's going to open the run game up. And that run game right now is actually eating the NFC alive in the North. I like the Lions.
Could be a big game for Laporta as well. They got a great offensive line. As you alluded to, the run game should get going. I'm just going to hope that Tennessee can get around 14. I think if they can, that'll be enough to hang around.
Yeah, let's move to the next one. This one's interesting. The Browns-Ravens. This is usually a very good contest. The Ravens usually will dominate them when Deshaun Watson's playing. And then when Deshaun Watson doesn't play, it seems like the Browns are usually the team that ends up beating them or in the game. This is a over-under 44.5, and it is an 8-point spread. The Ravens -8. Listen, man, Jameis Winston, I think, is getting the nod. Or is it DTR? I believe it's Jameis Winston.
No, it's Winston.
So, listen, Jeff, I don't know. Does this Brown team come out with a resurgence, as you just said, and come out hot? I'm going to take them to cover. And on BetUS, it's +9. So I like +9. I'm going to take the Browns to cover. That's just get my pick out the way. Go ahead, Jeff, Sean.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite bets of the week. I already bet it. I bet it at 9 as well. I'm on Cleveland too. Look, I've been hanging with Cleveland. I've given them a lot of chances. I'm going to give them one more. There's a lot of things to like here. I mean, Jameis Winston is a significant upgrade over both DTR and Deshaun Watson. Nick Chubb's healthy. I think you simplify this playbook. You run the football. You make it easy on Jameis. This is a very faulty Ravens secondary, guys. It's the worst secondary in the NFL. They're allowing the most passing yards in the league by a wide margin. Throw in, Cleveland's actually looked pretty damn good recently on defense. They're a top 10 rushing defense, which will bode well here. Marlon Humphrey out on defense for the Ravens. Cleveland also getting some help back on the offensive line. Their defense has picked it up recently. A couple other things as well. Baltimore lead the league. 4 roughing the passer penalties in 7 games. Too many. It's the most by a decent margin. Throw in the fact that Lamar Jackson, 18-1 in his career, laying more than 3 points. Give me the Browns. I think they hang around and get their best game yet this season.
Yeah, they'll throw it better. There's no doubt. Winston will throw it better. There should be some energy in the building. We talked about the Detroit Lions in the NFC. As good as Kansas City can be, I think Baltimore's playing as well as anybody in football as well in the AFC. I mean, they are doing anything they want to, but this feels a little ugly. This has backdoor cover, like late touchdown pass by Winston written all over it. I don't like to pick big-time favorites on a regular basis like I just did Detroit. I was tempted to think, we can't keep the betting. We can't keep making excuses for teams like Tennessee and Cleveland. They're just not good. They are just not good. But we're finally going to see 4 quarters of Jameis Winston. Now, he'll throw him a couple, but he's also capable of throwing for 350 yards in this game and hanging around. I would take Cleveland as well. And if you're giving me those 9 points, I'll take it.
One other thing, with the exception of that Bills game, this Baltimore Ravens team has a problem on their hands. They allow teams to hang around. You look at that other game.
Regular occurrence.
Look at that other game. Tampa had the ball to cover that game late, right? They were up 25, I think, at one point. This Baltimore team lets teams hang around. They only have one game this year where they looked really complete for 4 quarters. The defense just isn't very good. There's only one way to go, up for Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree. The next one's an interesting one as well, right here in the morning. In about an hour kickoff, Jags, Packers. Jags coming off 2 weeks in London. Who knows where they are? Jet lag extraordinaire. They're coming back here to play a Packers team that's right there in the mix in the NFC overall. Plus, the NFC North is 4 playoff teams right now as today stands. There's 4 playoff teams from the same division. If it were to start today, much much respect to the NFC North Black and Blue League right now. They're actually they're playing well, and this is going to be a barn burner down to the wire with Detroit now have a single-handed win over the Vikings. That's kind of put them behind, and now the Packers got to stay with the Lions and keep up with the Joneses. This is a over under 49, Jeff. The spread is 3.5. Packers minus 3.5. Listen, I expect the Packers to keep up with the Lions and go in there and mud stomp these guys to show that we're for real. If they hang in there, and the line scares me, Jeff, as you know, why is it only 3.5? I don't know. I would think it would be more of a 6-point spread or something like the Ravens-Browns spread. This one's interesting to me, especially 2 weeks in London, and it's only a 3.5 line. I don't know. Where you at?
Yeah, I think it definitely has to worry people if you like Green Bay here. And this one's come down a little bit. Remember, again, Packers have the Lions on deck, a game in which they're going to play an AFC team here, out of conference, maybe come in a little sleepy. Jordan Love has thrown a pick in every game this season. That said, the Jaguars only have one interception all season. They have a terrible pass defense, the second worst in the NFL. They just don't get a lot of stops. Throw in, though, that Evan Engram coming back has helped the Jags offense look a lot better. I actually like the over in this game. I played it at 48.5. I think it's like a 31-21 type of game. I think the Jags can score enough points to stay and keep it close, maybe a backdoor possibility. I think it's going to be 7 to 10 points the entire way. Jags will be in it, but they just can't find ways to win football games. That said, I don't like their defense. I don't love the Packers on defense either. Both quarterbacks, I think, have success here. I like the over 48.5.
Yeah, and how many years are we going to keep making this excuse for Jacksonville? Well, it'll be Lawrence isn't 18 years old or 19 or 20 anymore. It's time to elevate. I'm not talking about one game. I'm talking about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row where they look good. They've got some players. I like Green Bay in the game to win, but it's 3.5 points. If I was getting, I'd take that right now for Jacksonville because I think it's going to end up being a field goal game in Jacksonville. And at some point in time, Jacksonville has got to step up and dominate a game in every phase, which they have not done in a while. But I'm going to give them the benefit here at home. Green Bay wins the game, but this is a field goal game in my mind. 3.5 given to me. I'll take Jacksonville.
Are they capable to do that?
I don't know.
That's the big
question. When a quarterback's making $55 million or whatever he's making a year in these expectations, it's time, and it's not just him. But it's time for him to elevate where he takes over and loads a team up like a great hitter in baseball and carries them for a month. We've seen the guys in the past, and Rodgers and Favre and Elway and Marino and Moon and Brady and Manning and the great ones, Lamar Jackson, these guys who do it you have to at some point in time. And then we look at the guys who are good players but can't do it without great players around them. The best I know can do it no matter what the lineup looks like. They just find a way to get guys to play better. It's time have been singing praises on Trevor Lawrence, all the ability, but give me production over potential. It's time to be consistently productive there, and they're not, but I still think they can at home get within a field goal of this game. I'd take them at 3.5 points.
They may just do that today too. No Etienne for the Jaguars. So this is already a top 10 pass play team. They throw the ball a lot, Jacksonville. It could be one-dimensional, but if it's working, Evan Engram back, Brian Thomas, I think it all bodes to a high-scoring game.
But the over is the play here. That's what I was going to get to. I wouldn't bet. It's too close for comfort, and I don't trust Jacksonville. I just don't. But I do trust that both teams can score at some point. And if you're playing from behind, Jacksonville will throw every down, and they could score 14 points or 17 points in the fourth quarter because they're throwing it and get back in. I would take the over. It would be my bet in this game.
I'm going to take the Green Bay minus 3.5 pick on BetUS is what I've done already, so I'm locked in. But the reason I'm more comfortable now, Etienne being out, putting more pressure on Trevor Lawrence to throw the ball more, which he'll probably end up being some more turnovers late in the game, which will pull that game away to cover my minus 3.5. So I'm taking the Packers minus 3.5. These two are taking the over. So shout out to them too. Let's break down the next one, which is the Colts Texans. Jeff, this is always a good game. This is a rivalry game. The Texans 5-2, lost to two NFC North teams, close. Probably were C.J. Stroud's best two games, but they've been riddled with some injuries as well. They get Mixon back. They lose Miko. Tank Dell steps up last week. The last 2 weeks caught a touchdown, but
Yeah, but he dropped one in the end zone last week too that he's got to catch.
Yeah, he dropped
right
one.
in the friggin' hands.
Yeah, I expect him to have that one breakout game since right before he had the injury and got shot last year, coming back from that injury and in the 2-point play that we know he got hurt in that ended his year. I expect to see that Tank Dell again. I texted him and reached out to him and told him to clear the mechanism, man. Let's get going. I think he has a big day today.
But Coach, I want to say one thing. With Nico Collins, it is a fucking travesty to not have one catch in a game. That is how does that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They got Diggs. Diggs is a shitbird. We already know Diggs is a shitbird. I've told everybody for years he's a shitbird. Buddies of mine coached him in Minnesota. Listen, I hope that doesn't ruin, and it only takes one apple to ruin the whole batch, Sean. You know that better than anybody. One bad apple, man, it ruined the whole fucking batch. I hope that's not what's happening. I hope CJ and that faith-based organization that those guys are. CJ is hugely involved in that stuff.
So are you taking Houston here?
No, I'm taking the Colts to cover the 5. They're +5. I'm going to take the Colts. Over under is 45, Jeff. I don't know where you are with that. I'm going to take the Colts +5.
Yeah, I love this bet. I'm all in as well with you with the Colts. And let me give you a couple of reasons why. We have to throw out everything we know about Indianapolis and worry about what they do against Houston, because let me tell you something. They're 10-1-1 over their last 12 games in this series. They play very well. You look at the first game these two teams played. I had Indy +3, lost by 2. Nico Collins in that game, 117 yards receiving. He's out. Throw in the fact John Taylor back. That's big news for them because now the read option can work a lot better. This is not a good Houston run defense. You can move the ball on the ground. They've got a good offensive line. I think this is a great spot to back a kind of lowly Colt team who play well in this series. Houston a little overvalued. I don't know. They're just not the same team without Nico Collins to me. Give me Indy. I agree with you.
And they're making too many mistakes, Houston, and being here and talking about it all week long, every week. This is a soft 5-2. And what I mean by soft, two really good teams they've played in the North, Minnesota and Green Bay, they got beat by. They beat Buffalo, but Buffalo had no weapon. They held Josh Allen. He went 9 of 30. But other than that, they've kind of floundered around, and the aggressiveness on offense, Bobby Sloak, it can't just be Nico Collins on the vertical passing game. Somebody has got to elevate. They have enough bandwidth to do it, whether it's the elevation of Dalton Schultz, at the end of the game last week, completely mystified by the way they went about their red zone approach to save Green Bay a timeout, to throw an outcut on a 10-yard outcut outside the numbers when they had one timeout to stop the clock, even if it would have been caught, but it was incomplete. Instead of an angle inside, they didn't need field goal range. They're doing some things that are a little bizarre, and their offensive line hasn't blocked us 3, okay? And it's a bothersome. They are, when Mixon's in there, they'll run the dog shit out of the ball. Now, every time he plays a full game, he's over 100 yards this year, and he ran for almost $160 against the Colts the first time. DeForest Buckner is back in the lineup, I believe, this week, so that should help the Colts. But they get pushed around. But the pressure the simple pressures, JB, on little line stunts are giving – they're letting 3 and 4 guys get to the quarterback on 5-man, when they're protecting with even getting the back out or keeping him in. And then if you're getting a little bit exotic with it, they're having identifying who they're supposed to get young center. It's a problem. And Stroud's getting hit too many times, and he's a great player. Listen, the Texans are a far better team. You've got a guy who's completing less than 50% of his passes, who misses the easy throw all the time, yet he's extremely gifted in Anthony Richardson. You can't give up the big play, and you can't give up the broken play. If he's off schedule, that's when he makes plays. Keep him in the pocket, and you got to stop. See, I'm making Anthony Richardson beat me throwing the ball. Jonathan Taylor.
But the thing is, though, he did make some big plays in that first game. His depth of target is the highest in the NFL. He has the ability to make it.
And he missed 2 touchdown throws. Guys were 10 yards open that if he makes them, the Colts win the game.
Right. It's boom or bust with him, right? He can look really good.
Skilled beyond belief. He's about, 250 at 6 foot. Guys, an outside linebacker playing quarterback. He can move, but remember, and Mixon in the lineup, Jonathan Taylor obviously gets the go. They were concerned about, day to day. So I'm with you. I think 5's too much for the way the Texans have not dominated a game yet to where we thought that's the team that we expected coming back after 10 wins, and they always play well. Give me the Colts in this one. The Texans are going to win this game, even though they won the first part of this series this year in the home and home. They're going to win this game, but I think it's going to be closer than we expect. But if you complete 40% and don't run for 140 yards, then the Colts will not be close in this game. He's got to play better.
Yeah, and this Texan team has just been flat out average on offense.
No doubt.
From an analytical standpoint, 18th in DVOA. They're just a group that really haven't put much together yet.
They're underachieving offensively outside of Mixon, which is bothersome.
And it's hard to beat a team twice, right? Yes. And this group has thrown the kitchen sink, Indy, at this game every year. The numbers have shown that. So
I think it's a good thing for the Texans that T.Y. Hilton's not playing anymore.
Right.
Because he'd come in here, dude. You talk about a guy who owned this. Look at his numbers against the Texans. He had a Hall of Fame career against the Texans himself. So, but this is a different team, and their front seven's really good. They'll pressure you. And that's the thing that concerns me. You pressure Richardson, you better tackle his big ass in the backfield because he is really good at scaring you with his feet. Now, I'm anxious to see how it goes, but I think it's going to be closer than people than I'm sure the public's all over the Texans at home, right? Jeff, I haven't even looked. I'm sure they are. But
for sure.
The Colts will hang around because Taylor's a stud, but their quarterback's going to have to make a few more plays. And I'm going to have to see a little bit more aggressiveness and attack mode and play action off Joe Mixon against this Colts team to take some shots. Because their offense, and you're going to have to turn that line back, JB, and protect the quarterback because they're not doing a good job in just basic pass protection. They're just not. Give me the Colts, though, in a close one.
Yeah, I'm taking Colts cover 5. Cardinals, Dolphins, guys. This is the next one on the slate. This is Tua's back. Everyone's saying spark up the band. It's about to get live. We're going to go deep. Tyreek Hill's coming off a little hobble. He's hobbled. He's going to play, I believe. Waddle hasn't been really existent. These two guys have dropped in your DFS, guys. If you guys are DFS, I'm sure Waddle and Tyreek Hill are picked very, very high today because of the return of Tua. This is a over-under 46.5. Miami has 0 physicality on defense. I think Arizona can score points, but I would bet the house that Miami wins this game just because of Tua's return in Miami. It's a +4 spread for Arizona. I'm taking Miami to cover the 4 and win by at least a touchdown. Jeff, Sean, where you at?
Yeah, this is a tough game for Arizona. I've also had trouble figuring out who the hell Arizona is. I mean,
they don't even know.
They get blown out by the Commanders, then they beat the Niners, then they get blown out by the Packers, and then they beat the Chargers. Now you got to go cross country to Miami. Let's just say this. Tua is probably as healthy as he's going to get. You're not going to chance him maybe being healthy. He's never going to get cleared with some of his injury history. That has me thinking that he'll be as good as healthy here and ready to go. That said, the Cardinals are just too Jekyll and Hyde. I can't get involved. I think the thought is, they're just going to be better because Tua is back. Do we get the Tua against the Bills or do we get the Tua against the Jags? One game he looked real good, one game he looked real bad. And in that game against the Jags, they still barely won. They only won it 20-17. I think, as you alluded to, JB, Tyreek Hill's still a little beaten up. I'm going to side, and again, it's just a lean. I didn't bet this one. I'm going to lean Cardinals, but this is a really tough football game.
Once again, I think Miami. I think the enthusiasm coming back. I think the ball comes out quick. They're going to run in space. It's a long trip for Arizona, and you're right. To talk about one of the biggest Dow Jonesers, they've been the extreme, as you mentioned, Jeff, both ways. Where 1 week they look like a playoff team, the next week they couldn't. The next week they couldn't beat Arizona State. So it reeks of. I would imagine the number's under 50. Jeff, is it like 48.5, 49, somewhere in that range, in the mid 40s?
This number's 46.5.
There you go. I would take. If I was going to parlay, which I mean, they're fun once in a while to have a fun with when you're playing on house money. But if I would take the Dolphins in the over in this one because I think Arizona is going to score, 3 touchdowns in the game. This feels to me like 38-21 type of game. It just does. And this would be, if you're going by trend, Jeff, wouldn't this be the week of the trend of getting your ass kicked after, who they play last day? You know what I'm saying? The up and down, up and down. I got Miami enthusiasm. I think Tua, when he's healthy, and you mentioned they're not putting him, if he's 97%, he ain't playing. They're clearing that protocol, so he's going to be fully cleared, or they wouldn't have put him in this and put him in harm's way and passed him. You made a great point about that. I expect him to play good football today and them to have a lot of run after the catch. I would parlay this if I was doing it for fun with the Dolphins in the over, but the Dolphins to me are a safe bet at 4 points or whatever, 4.5. I think I think the Dolphins take care of. This is a 10-point game for me. I think the Dolphins take care of their business at home.
Good. I'm glad. I picked them -4 too. All right, good. The next one here, I believe this is still the morning slate. We got a few more morning slate games, and then we'll move on to the afternoon. Falcons Bucks. 3 weeks ago, it was a great finale. The Bucks were healthy at that point as well. Godwin and Mike Evans, and now those two are gone. Unfortunate. The Buccaneers season may have just ended last week against the Ravens. This is a over under 47 and a -1.5 for Atlanta. I'm gonna just real quick. I'm taking Atlanta and the Bucks over under. Jeff, I'm taking the over 46.5.
Yeah, I have no issue with that. To me, I would kind of simplify it just a little bit and go with just the Falcons over 23.5 at BetUS, their team total. Remember, Kirk Cousins absolutely shit on this Tampa Bay team. The first game had 509 yards, 4 touchdowns on 58 attempts. This is a bad Buck defense. I'm going to keep saying it. They can't get any stops. The concern with the over is, can the Tampa Bay Buccaneers look the same? You have to figure they don't. At times, Baker Mayfield looked absolutely horrific without Godwin and Mike Evans. You're throwing to the likes of Jalen McMillan. Look, nice young player, but not exactly the guy I want. Rashad White's kind of been like a forgotten player there. I'm going to just simplify and go with the Atlanta Falcons to score 23 or more points. I think this offense is solid. I don't like the Bucs defense. And Atlanta's averaging around there this season, just hoping that they get to the average. This is a tough game. I thought the Falcons would be a little bit higher. That's it. I think they do beat the Bucs yet again.
Yeah, this one. Jeff, I don't know. Did you say you bet it? I don't know if I would touch this game. I mean, because of all the things. Well, how's they going to respond with the two receivers gone? Is Baker going to try to do too much?
Probably.
The other side, Cousins had a big night. You don't want to be embarrassed again and give up that kind. So you say, well, will they shut that down? Can Tampa even score 17 points? There's a temptation for me. Jeff, the smart bet is 24 points scored by Atlanta, meaning 12 above their 20. They can pull that off. But for me, I almost feel like the under is a safer bet than the over in this game because I don't trust Tampa's offense without the explosive weapons. And you would think after you've been humiliated, it's hard to go back and pump another 400 plus and throw for 5 to do those things against the team, even though their defense has been a disappointment this year in Tampa. Part of me would think the under, but the smart bet is taking Atlanta's over in their points. But if I had a second bet, I would take Atlanta's going to win the game, I believe. I would actually take the under in this game because I don't trust that Tampa can score a lot of points without those weapons. I really don't.
Keep in mind, so far this season, the Tampa Bay Bucks have 165 total catches. 76 are from Godwin and Evans. Your next highest receiver is Cade Otton, who's a tight end. He's a decent player, but I mean, outside of that, there's not a ton of weapons. I think you make a good point. Baker then starts to do too much, gets a little skittish, and drives start to fall apart. So, yeah, I'm going to simplify and go with the Falcons. I'm going to back that offense to move the ball against a adversary who isn't very good in Tampa's defense.
Here's the thing. I think they rely heavy on Bucky, Sean, and Otton. I think they get those two guys involved. I like the Irving kid. He's shown up to be a very, 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 very useful mammal when it comes to DFS and all things betting. When you guys are out there betting, Bucky Irving will probably be a safe pick today. And then Otton for your tight end look. If you want to head on over to Prize Picks, you could do that as well. Real quick, guys, I wanted to share a little film real quick with you in the film room, Sean, because we got it, obviously. And I'm going to pull it up real quick for you. Let's see. Go ahead, Bailey. It'll be a little small, but you guys see it?
Yep.
Real quick, this is the Bucs, Sean, and empty. A little end zone copy. They removed Bucky right there. There's Otton right there in the slot. What can you expect this week? This was last week's game against the Ravens. this is what you'll see versus the Atlanta Falcons on defense as well, right? They're gonna expand the box when you go empty.
Well, you have there's no question about it, but you also are not going to live on this, right? If you're Baker Mayfield, that matters. I mean, you may get that and do some of that in the red zone too to create some spaces, but I just don't know if throwing in rhythm on time is going to be something they're going to be able to do in separation. But you're exactly right that they are going to have to expand the box. And if you're Tampa, don't you got to get a little bit? I don't want to say exotic, but don't you have to mix in a lot of stuff this week? Because I don't think they can basically line up and go 80 yards 4 times in this game. Not that Atlanta Falcons is the best D in the league, but I just don't think they have enough weapons. And I know one thing about Baker. He's played really good football this year and has done a good job since he's been in Tampa. But if they're down, he'll have propensity to want to throw to fit it in windows you probably shouldn't fit it in or try to. But I respect his grind. I just think Atlanta's the better team. And I
also that
pick. So
also that is not sustainable as an offense to just run around and hope something happens.
Well, of course, and JB, you know this too. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jeff. Is that when you go empty, both of you guys, that if they find a way not to allow you to use your feet to escape and you're standing, you're going to take some hits. You're going to take some hits in protection unless the ball comes out in rhythm regularly. So I'm anxious to see how they deal with this and how much of this you actually get in this game.
That's what I expect.
Two receivers down.
I expect this. I think a lot of Bucky Irving and getting the ball out the backfield in the run game and the pass game because they don't have much more. And then I think
shorten the game, JB. Shorten the game,
man.
Yeah.
Shorten the game. Get the ball to this guy, and then when you start to throw the ball to this kid who's going to get you quite a bit of yardage, they're going to start opening up Otten, and you'll see Otten right here. Otten's right here running the corner route on the vertical side. I think you can get those two guys the ball. Now, is it enough to Jeff's point to win the game? No. I think Atlanta has too much with Bijan and London and so on. But having said that, though, this is a very interesting spot to say the least. So I like the Falcons today in this one. Let's move on, Jeff. The Jets-Patriots is a fucking barn burner, right? 2 worst fucking offenses in football. The Jets are second week with Devontae Adams, third week with Brick as the head coach after the Saleh firing. Saleh is now helping out the Packers in a very fluid role over there. That's the head coach's best man. Saleh is over there, so they're good friends. Of course, we rub each other's back in this profession. This is over under 41, -7 for the Jets. Scary line, Jeff. I don't know where to think with this one. I don't know where to think, and I'm going to tell you, I took the over 40.5.
Yeah, that's risky. I will say I think the Jets do a lot of scoring. I think this number's telling for as bad as the Jets have looked at 2-5.
I'm thinking that.
Yeah, for as bad as they've looked, I mean, this is a bad Patriot group. They're just getting their doors blown off every week. There's really no excuse now for the Jets. Hassan Reddick is active, I believe. Yeah, you got Devontae there finally. What I want to see from this team is this defense has not looked good. This is a bad opponent coming in. This is the time you really need to bow your ears back and get some stops. You allowed a bad Steeler offense, again, a resurgent offense with Russell Wilson, but put up 37. You got to do what you did the first time these two teams played. 24-3, really good defensive performance, good on offense. There's really no excuse. I think the game's probably similar to the first time they played. New England is looking like the worst team in the NFL that we thought they would be. Maybe throw the Panthers in there too. But I would actually lay the number here. I like the 7. I think the Jets show out today against a bad team. Aaron Rodgers looks good.
Yeah, when is it?
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Sean. The only reason I say over 40.5 is these games, Sean, and this is the second week of a Jets team getting together, and I think that the defense is bad on the Jets. The Jets' defense is not what we thought they were, and Hassan Reddick's going to come in. He's going to get up the field as a pass rusher. I think the Patriots can at least run the football pretty decently, and I think that allows for them to sustain some drives against a defense on the Jets that just has been underperforming. I think that this can hit 40. I think it's a 23-17 or 20-29. I think
I even look at it as a 31-10 game.
Yeah, the Jets can score today.
That gets you all right. At some point in time, because if the Jets don't play well and they lose this game, for you to stick a fork in him. You may already stuck one in him.
It's over.
Then that'll tell you this is a major trend, and they're just not that good. We overrated them because we can't keep making excuses for Rodgers and everybody that a coaching change. The coaching change hasn't meant shit so far, and I love him, but it ain't like that. There was more wrong than just Robert Saleh on this football team, which is obvious. But at some point in time, Rodgers has to look like the guy that we know. At some point in time, that offense and the group of them got to step up and hang 30+. And at some point in time, the defense, which was supposed to be lights out all year long, one of the top 3 or 4 defenses in the league, has got to clamp down regularly and look like a Super Bowl defense. I don't think this game's close today. I think the Jets finally show up, and I think they curb stomp New England. Now, JB, the question is it 28-10 or is it 31-10? I think the Jets can score points. I don't think New England can score 3 touchdowns. So you better hope for a Jets onslaught. I would take the Jets. My bet's the Jets cover that number and they win. And it may be, and I hope for your sake it is over the over. But I think the Jets win the game, and I think it's a double-digit victory.
This could be also, if you're into this sort of thing, this could be a good live betting game. Jared Mayo called this team soft in their last game. Okay, we'll see if they come out and play well. That could also signify that Jared Mayo's time in New England could be very short. If they come out here weak and get shut out today, don't play well, they are fade material in New England for the rest of the season. They'll quit. If you can't get up for this game, divisional opponent, you just got called out for being soft. Maybe you really are.
Yeah, it's going to be – yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting. Then Belichick said they're not soft, and it's a lot of shit going on.
How would he know? He's not the coach anymore.
Well, they're his players. That's why he said they're the same players he had on D last year, and he said they weren't soft. So that's why he said it.
But I got to ask, though, and here's the thing with Bill Belichick calling people soft. Bill Belichick has never proven anything without Tom Brady as his quarterback. So – I mean,
that's not true. Not true at all.
Who's here to really call anybody soft? Well, he hasn't. What do you mean? He was dog shit before and after.
Jeff, he was a D coordinator on 2 Super Bowl teams.
Now what's he doing? He's courting a fucking 24-year-old girl. Bill, wake the fuck up, bro.
I don't care about that. That has nothing to do with fucking coaching, Jeff. And by the way, he took a Cleveland Browns team to the playoffs. What are you talking about?
The truth is,
he also took a team without Tom Brady.
You got to stop with the non-coaching shit. The coaching
I got
Bill Belichick was a fucking hack before Tom Brady and a hack after Tom Brady. That's the truth.
Jeff, you saying that Bill Belichick's a hack is like JB saying Pat Mahomes can't play.
Exactly.
Well, without Tom Brady, he wasn't anything. That's just the truth.
Well, they did win 10 or 11. They did win 10 or 11 games with Matt Castle at quarterback. And I love Matt. He's an SD guy.
All, Jeff. You're not.
No, I don't. I agree.
Well, we can also talk about sustained greatness. And even before Brady got the start,
Jeff, take over.
Bledsoe was playing some pretty good football in his day. But I get you. Not a hack though. You and I both know.
We got to turn his mic down. His mic is way too fucking loud.
So, JB, where's he going?
I don't know. Hopefully, to
get some strengthen his Belichick. There you go.
Yeah. Listen, I don't care. I don't give a fuck about he. Without Tom Brady, he's a average coach. This is my opinion, but I don't. That's fine. Next game, Eagles, Bengals, big one. This is a big game, Sean.
Huge game.
2 teams that I think talent wise are surely right there. Right, 2 good quarterbacks. Burrow obviously better. This is an Eagles team I can't really figure out, right? I mean, I do think that they're a good football team, but again, the Giants are bad. They struggled against the Browns. I'm not really just going to graduate and say that I think the Eagles are good because they beat the Giants and put a full game together finally. They've been too inconsistent. As an Eagle fan, again, and I say fan lightly, I'd like the Eagles to go out there to Cincy, put another full game in, and take care of business here. This is a Buck defense. It's not good. Particularly in the secondary. I'm kind of all over the place with this one. Something tells me the Eagles find a way to get the job done, but Joe Burrow is really good. Those corners for the Eagles are going to get tested. We'll see if Quinyon Mitchell's what we think he is here. My favorite play, though, Trey Hendrickson to record a sack. I think it's -110. Fred Johnson is the tackle right now in place of Jordan Mailata. He has really struggled at this level, Fred Johnson. I think Hendrickson matching up with him is a good one. I think he gets a sack or 2 today.
What's the number again, Jeff, on this?
The Bengals are 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah. I was wondering if it moved.
Cincy.
Okay. I got Cincinnati. This is usually the time of year that they have this run since Burrow's been there. Start slow. Now we can say that and say if we're going on history and all the things they did, this is where they go on a 5 or 6 or 7 game run. The question is this year, are they talented enough to go on that run? But Burrow's playing. Listen, if Burrow's team was 5-2, you would be talking about him at the top of the MVP list. The guy's having a phenomenal season. He's keeping them afloat. So it's weird how I still feel pretty decent about if they win this. I feel decent about the Bengals' chances to be a playoff team if they can take care of Philly at home today. As much as I love Philly's skill set, there's still some inconsistencies that bug me, like Cincinnati. But I'm just going on the fact that I think Burrow's playing better football than Jalen Hurts is, no doubt. And I think they can move the football. You give me Cincinnati by a field goal at home. I think it's going to be a hell of a fun game to watch. I got the Bengals at home, and I got Burrow having another good game because this is his time.
Hey, am I crazy? I'm taking the over at 47.5, Jeff, on BetUS.
No, I don't think you're crazy. I think both offenses will move the ball. This is a big barometer game for the Eagles because, again, regardless of what you say about Cincy, they're still a quality team in the AFC. They have a damn good quarterback in Joe Burrow. This Eagles team, just too inconsistent to bet on. One just quick point, guys. Just want to throw this out. Bill Belichick, without Tom Brady in his career, 85-102, one of the worst head coaching records in the history of the NFL. Just wanted to point that out.
Let me go back and ask this: how many of those games those losses were with Cleveland?
That's
not my point.
But the point is, you can't just look. Of course, well then, I guess Bill Walsh isn't any good without Montana. Shit, Jeff.
The players play.
Andy Reid. Andy Reid's been.
And Andy Reid. And let me tell you something. Andy Reid was a fucking average coach until he got Patrick Mahomes. That's the truth as well.
That's not true.
Let me ask you this.
What did Andy Reid win?
Well, how many playoff games appearances did Andy Reid have in Philly?
Getting to the playoffs is not an acceptable
success story. Then you're telling me 31 coaches suck ass every year. That it's only one. That's not true.
Yeah, you look at it from a betting perspective.
That is horse shit and bullshit. And
you're
I love Jeff. I hold you guys.
You look at it as a coaching. You look at it as a betting perspective.
Let me tell you both something. For JB to think that
it's not an acceptable
play is bullshit, and for you to say that Bill Belichick's a hack without Tom Brady, that's not true. His record may not, but I can go through a lot of coaches. Okay, then Lombardi isn't good without the Green Bay Packers roster. Nick Saban's not good if he didn't fortunately stumble into Alabama. Well, I know he was successful at Michigan State.
Well, here's the thing, though.
LSU.
Coaching in the NFL means, and in pro sports in general, means nothing to me. I don't care about coaching.
You hire a great staff, in my opinion. It's who you hire that's in the room with those guys every day.
Yeah,
but you may not like Belichick is the best ever, but listen, I can go through a lot of this stuff, but he may not be your favorite coach, Jeff, but to say the guy isn't any good.
It's not that he's not my favorite coach.
But isn't the goal to get good players? The goal is to get good players. I mean, hell, there's some guys with good players that can't coach good players. But I guess I can't downgrade a guy for not winning without good players. That shit happens to every coach in the league.
But is 85-102 good?
No, that's my point. But okay, then I want you to now do that for every coach that's been on a team without a good players and the long term. Do it without somewhere in there. Shula struggled without good players, but he had good players with Marino.
Here's the bottom.
Andy, let me say a thing. Patrick Mahomes could win a Super Bowl with a fucking mannequin on the sideline.
Patrick Mahomes ain't winning a Super Bowl with Carolina. Sorry to tell you. Ain't happening right now. Maybe
you got this Mahomes take, but not Belichick. You're fucking crazy.
I've always said I don't think in professional sports, I don't think coaching matters.
You can struggle one time or one season or two seasons and still be a great coach. Hell, I've seen guys be the coach of the year one year. Ray, the guy who was a defensive coach, it was a rookie of the year. His rookie year, he's a coach of the year in Philadelphia. Came from Green Bay. You guys were too. JB, you know what I'm talking about. Ray Rhodes. There, exactly. And then we can go through this shit. So making the playoffs. So I'm assuming Kyle Shanahan's a shitty coach, even though he hadn't won a Super Bowl. He's had them in position. Why? He's got good players. Hey, Dan Campbell. And what an amazing thing. He's turned the culture around. Dan Campbell has good players now, and what a shock. They're winning and good. It's the Houston Texans. shitty. I mean, they won 4 divisions.
Let me ask you, though.
Let me finish, though. They said this. D'Amico Ryans comes in on a 3-win team, gets a quarterback, and now they win 10 games. So, yes, every coach on the planet in baseball, shitty-ass this, shitty-ass. But it's hard to win. Not every coach that's had great resume over the course of his career has kicked ass immediately. So to say that Andy Reid and Bill, if you're going to tell me Mahomes can win a Super Bowl with a mannequin, then I'm going to tell you Mahomes is better because Andy Reid. Yeah. I'm going to tell you that. And that Brady was better because Belichick and the quarterback's more important. Mahomes and Brady are both more important than because they got the ball in their hand. But there's a synergy that goes with it. I can tell you this. There, you could give me a Hall of Fame with Belichick's players. Give me a guy who's a mid-level, who's a quarterback who's been to 5. Dak Prescott ain't winning those Super Bowls that Tom Brady. There's just different. And if you're able to get Tom Brady and a great coach like Belichick, then you win 6 of them together, and Tom goes and wins another one in Tampa. No doubt it's the player. But to say that Mahomes can't play or to say that Bill Belichick's a hack, that's a hot take that belongs on TV that you watch that we all hate.
But you still haven't. It's not hot. He didn't win anything without Tom Brady.
Okay.
He has one of the worst coaching records in history.
Now
you Tom Brady.
Now you do me. Now you do. Now find me. Okay. Now I want you to find me aside from Tampa's dominant
defense. None of you have made any points that validate
the fuck out of here. What do you mean haven't made points?
What have you said?
Made points. If you to say coaches don't matter,
they don't.
Tells me you haven't sat in a huddle. And I respect.
You're right, but that doesn't mean
I'm not saying you don't know football. But from
what has he won
your
without
living room telling that Belichick sucks as a coach without a good quarterback? Well, then get in line.
Jeff, you said Tomlin sucks, though, bro. How do you say these guys suck? Just so
Tomlin's never had a losing season.
Tomlin hasn't won shit in 15 years.
But it doesn't matter if you only look at it as betting. Listen, guys, you look at it as betting, Jeff, and bottom line is Andy Reid.
What does that matter? What does that matter?
Because you said stupid shit. That's why.
You haven't backed shit up, though.
Yeah,
I just got done back.
Yeah, we have backed it up.
No, you
haven't. You only look at it from the betting side. Here's what it is. By the way, Andy Reid was in the NFC fucking East that was by far better than the AFC fucking West during Mahomes' era. So go look at the facts.
So here's what I don't get, Jeff.
Jeff, it's old-ass T.O., old-ass Michael Vick that he made $100 million for, Andy Reid did, but he didn't win nothing in the NFC East? Come on, dog. You don't know football like that. You're a better.
Jeff, let me ask you this, Jeff.
So I guess I'm asking, why am I here? Like, what?
No, see, I don't.
Because I didn't play football. I don't know. Bill Belichick's fucking average.
Listen, you know betting. You know what the side is.
Listen for a second. Nobody said you don't know football. It tells me you say all I said was because I fucking think you know a lot of football. And JB's wrong. The reason you're on the show is because we know how good you are. That's not the point. But with this take, and just like you ripped him for saying Mahomes can't play, it reeks. Let me finish. It reeks of you say we didn't make a point. I just made a point. Now let me make the motherfucker clearer so you understand.
Go ahead.
Here's a clear fucking picture. That coaches with good players win more with coaches with bad players. And regardless of what you say, I do know the quarterback position better than anybody on this set.
Well, nobody said you didn't.
And I know, and I threw enough interceptions to know what horseshit is. And not one coach, that Denny Green, as good as he is, and I love him like and Brian Billick, they didn't have the ball in their hand. Their losses weren't on them. It was on me for throwing the ball to the wrong guy. That I do know. But for us to sit up here because the guy's had a bad record, well, luckily, guess what? That's why when you're last, you pick first. And then you finally go get some players and you start to win. I'm not done. And you start to win, Sean McVay. You got Matt Stafford. You lost in a Super Bowl, so McVay sucked because of Goff first. Now Goff changes his game. It happens. It's fluid. And you know what? Find me a good coach that had shitty players for years and won consistently. See, you don't think getting to the playoffs means shit. Well, to most teams, it does. Now, when you've won 6 Super Bowls, getting to the playoffs not enough. Getting to the playoffs for the Celtics is not enough. Getting to the playoffs for Wayne Gretzky's Edmonton Oilers wasn't enough. But for us to think that it's commonplace to do what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing is bullshit. And for you to think that Andy Reid didn't coach for shit when he was in Philadelphia is horseshit. And you and I both know it. So just because you don't win, because then you're telling me there's 31 horseshit head coaches every year, that the only guy who's been good at his job the last 2 years is Andy Reid because they won. Nah, man. And you do know football. But if you're going to make a statement like that, I'd lose credibility not challenging you by saying
you were good at football.
Sucks.
You were good at football. You were good at football.
No, I was okay. I was damn great before I got hurt. And then,
but the coach didn't make you greater. You were good at football.
Coach did make me better. Brian Billick on how to read a defense. Denny Green on how to take shots and have the guts to overcome a bad, drive the bus. They did make a difference. Now, the final decision was me because I had the ball in my hand. That's why guys like Warren Moon, who was ahead, made the plays that I couldn't make. At one point, maybe I could have in my day, but I didn't make them. And you know what? I couldn't get over the rearview mirror, fucking up and then letting it fester 2 or 3 players later. But those guys did. Now, I did at times, but it goes through stints. But it just, so, yeah, good. But you know what? Coaching does matter.
And
I will only say, and I'll just end it with this.
You got rid of Sean McVay, got rid of Goff, who lost them Super Bowl 10-7, and then they go get Stafford and win it.
So I don't know.
Yeah, listen, I'll just say I just don't give a fuck about coaching in the NFL. I don't, or the NBA, right. And that's just my opinion. In college, right. I think it's very important.
But that's why you're going to have this. That's why we're going to have this debate, because when you talk betting on this side, and then Sean and I played and understand coaching on this side, that's what's going to bring the disagreement, which is great for the show, I think. But I'm just telling you,
it's not a matter of why are you here, and it's not a matter you don't know.
But what I'm trying to say is
that's like me saying, you know what, fuck. I mean, the Philadelphia, let's go the Philadelphia Phillies. Their manager's horseshit. Because he hasn't won. That bullshit. He's changed it and brought the most out of him. They just have fallen short. He's not horseshit. Bobby Cox is not a horseshit manager. God rest his soul. They won 7-8 years in a row, NLCS. So what, Bobby Cox, you know what? They won a lot. Guess what? Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox fucking matter. Okay, it does matter. You get Justin Verlander here back in, in 2017, and lo and behold, doggone guy pitches his ass off.
Dusty won one.
Whoa, wait a minute. They're up 2-0. Dave Roberts has Ohtani now against the Yankees, and it's not a shortened season. Shit. Now, if let's see
if the injury hurts him. Let's see if the injury hurts him.
And supposedly, it's that he's still got full range of motion. Point is, coaching does matter. Some sports and levels matter more than others. But Patrick Mahomes is a fantastic, great player. He's not horseshit. And Andy Reid and Bill Belichick, even without great quarterbacks or good coaches, the players around Bill Walsh, Joe Montana. What a novel fucking concept. You get great players around you, you actually become a better coach. And if not,
let me ask one question. Let's say
move on, Jeff. We're going to never get through this.
We can, but let me ask you, if Joe Montana had some random
Did he win a Super Bowl in Kansas City? You answer that fucking question for me.
Nope.
Did he win a Super Bowl in Kansas City?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
I guess that squelches that shit, right?
Do you think Tom Brady would have won if, let's say,
he won in Tampa, homie? What are you talking about?
Right.
Now, if you're asking,
so that's what I'm trying to say. So it doesn't matter who the coach is, right?
Tom Brady went to Carolina 2 years at the end of his career instead of Tampa.
Yeah.
Would they have won a Super Bowl with that roster? And I can tell you unequivocally, the answer is fucking no way. As much as I think Brady's the best of all time.
Right.
You better have. He's one of those guys that could overcome some average players and make them better. That's why I said at the beginning. But it doesn't happen every year. So listen, Kirk Cousins doesn't suck as a quarterback, even though he had won a Super Bowl. He's a hell of a regular season player. Doesn't mean he sucks. So Drew Brees, all the years Drew Brees played, because he only won one, means he's not very good. No, that's not true. Sean Payton, he's a hell of a coach, right? But boy, man, with Russ Wilson, it was different than it was with Drew Brees, even though Russ Wilson's good. Hey, Pete Carroll got Russ Wilson at his best. Pete Carroll was ran out of the NFL and then he comes back, gets good players. And look, Pete Carroll's a king and a hero, as he should be.
It almost sounds like you're strengthening my point that it's all about the players and coaching.
No, that's not. I said it's about the players. Pete Carroll brought the best out in Russ Wilson. When Matt Flynn was hurt in training camp, they signed him to that big contract. Couldn't play because of his elbow. What did Russ Wilson do? Takes a job as a rookie and leads him to a Super Bowl with great defense, great players, not just one great player. There's a lot of great. Marino never won a Super Bowl, so it's Marino. So Shula sucks, I guess, right?
And
Shula and Marino suck.
Yeah.
No, Marino had to carry it. They didn't, even though Dan went to one, he thought he was going to go to 5 more and never got back, and that's the greatest pure passer of all time. So they both work together. Yes, you need Brady to be better if you're Belichick, but to say he sucks or Andy Reid didn't do shit in Philadelphia, come on, man.
That's tough.
You got more credit. You got more credibility than that. You're not a hot take artist.
But let me just end it with this, and I'll just stop here. 85-102 without Brady, and Andy Reid won. What did he win in Philadelphia? Nothing.
And here's the thing.
Here's what you consider the playoffs nothing. There's only one good coach.
And you got to consider, and Sean, you got to consider where you are. Nick Saban started with the Dolphins when he came to the NFL, and it ran his ass out. Yeah, because that's where you got to start. He started in Cleveland as a head coach, bro. Cleveland. Like, what have they won? I'm just saying, he took them to the playoffs.
Points are valid everywhere. People don't realize. But the hardcore statement of Bill Belichick sucks. Come on, he's an average coach. Nah.
Yeah. Well, include what I said. Without Brady, he sucks.
Okay, so would Bill Belichick have been good with
no.
Maybe somebody who's not Brady? Well, he's pretty good with Bledsoe. And Bledsoe's pretty fucking good. Yeah. So are we saying
we got 15 minutes.
Well, we're done with the 1 o'clock games, though. There's no rush. We got all of them. Yeah. But go ahead.
All right, we're at the 1 o'clock game right now. And this is the Bills Seahawks in Seattle. Jeff, take it real quick. Sean, take it real quick. I got to run to the door.
Yeah, real quick. This is a weather game. I would avoid 30-mile-an-hour winds. I'm hearing rainy, ugly weather. I think the run games are going to be on point. I think you kind of are looking to get James Cook back involved. He didn't have a real good game last week. Throwing's going to be hard in this game. Wind's going to be a factor. I stayed off it completely. Weather.
And what game did he bring up? I don't even.
Bill Seahawks.
Oh yeah, this is. And what's the spread? I didn't even look at this game, to be honest with you. It's the only one.
Three.
Seattle favored by 3 at home.
Bills 3.
Oh, Bills are favored by 3. Give me Seattle at home. But you're giving me the points. I'll take Seattle at home.
Sean, you're not worried about a layover game because Seattle goes to Atlanta, fucking dominates them. I was shocked at that game last week. I thought Atlanta would cover that. They go get blown out by Seattle. And then Seattle comes home now. Geno Smith has struggled at home more than he is on the road. No DK.
Wind everywhere, field goal game, weather. I know Buffalo deals with it well, but I don't. Even with the Bills aren't exactly loaded with overpowering weapons.
Run the football.
If Allen doesn't play great and they don't run it efficiently, then it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't bet this game because of all the inclement, the stuff that Jeff just mentioned. But I'm just leaning to the home team because while I think Buffalo's good, I think Seattle can hang in this game. It's probably a fourth quarter possession win for somebody.
Hey guys, though, is it over? I'm over 45.
I think the weather.
Yeah, I think the number's good. I 45 is about where I had it. I had 44.5. So, yeah, weather makes it a whole lot different. Again, rain, 15, 20, 30-mile-an-hour winds.
They're on turf, though, Sean. You know how it is. A little different on turf than grass and weather. So I think it'll help a little bit.
And a lot of times if it's not bad weather or horrible wind, it's an offensive advantage. So you can get more big plays because you know where you're going on your cuts and stuff. This game, I wouldn't bet it. Somebody else, I think Buffalo's a better team. But like you said, Jeff, you said there was going to be some games that you didn't. The underdog was going to take care. It was going to be ugly. This is one of those. I'll take
Seattle looked good last week. Geno looked really good. A couple of touchdowns. Kenneth Walker was in the mix. But again, no Metcalf, as JB pointed out. So there's just a stay away to me.
Yeah. Fuck. That's a fucking interesting. Saints Chargers, another 1 o'clock game. Saints Chargers. San Diego loses a bad game. I don't know what team this is either. Real quick, Sean, Jeff, got a little film, Charger offense. Can we share it real quick? Boom. You got it, Bailey? You guys got me, Jeff? Hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can hear you.
You see it?
Nope.
Uh-oh. Hold on. You don't see it, Bailey? Bailey, you got it?
There it is.
All right,
hard to see because it's such a small. There you go. That's better.
Better?
Yeah.
Hey, here we go, Sean. Break it down. This is Herbert, who I am just starting to believe is more borderline bust than he is great. I don't know. I can't.
Has he gotten better? Has he gotten better since his first 2 years in the league?
No.
I expected more from him. Now they're going to, Jim likes to play conservative football. This is a stone cold lock on the edge, on the outside lane, though. You're begging single high safety. All you got to do is read the underneath coverage. If you're passing up the seam route right now, freeze.
Yep.
If you're throwing, that ball has to be caught between 18 and 22 yards on a 1.1 ball rip shot that keeps him just right around the top of the numbers. If you're throwing it, if not,
how about right there?
That's exactly right. 18 to 22 yard rip shot. If you're going to do it with the safety turned, opportunity, that ball cannot have any arc to it because they can drive on it. But if you don't like it and you have to take a hitch to throw that ball. That's one. If you're under center, it's 5 in rhythm. If you're in the gun, it's 3 rhythm. You put your foot in the ground and transfer your weight and rip that right in the hole, no deeper than 22, no less than 18 yards. If you don't like it, you reset to the hitch and pound the outside lane, which is an 18 back to 15 comeback, which is like fucking shooting fish in a barrel. You can throw it underhand and make this throw.
And you got this back here on the backside.
If you got to flip your hips and throw the check down. It's exactly right.
But he can throw these throws all day long. I just don't know what happened, Jeff, last week to Arizona. I don't understand what they struggle with. It blew my mind that they'll lose that game, and then they'll beat a Denver's, one of the best defenses in Denver. So where are you at with this game in particular? Yeah. No Quentin Johnson, I don't believe. So I would hope you see more Dobbins in the run game. I don't know, Jeff, statistically where you are with this in the run game, but they've struggled lately. No?
They have. I'm on the under 41.5 in this game. Chargers have been a great under, 5-1 to the under this season. As you guys are alluded to, Herbert has not really taken the step forward. This is an offense that really isn't conducive on throwing the football. They like to run, ground and pound, not a lot of weapons. Spencer Rattler looked lost last week. This offense has kind of hit the skids as well. I think they're a defense that probably gives Herbert some trouble. They haven't looked great, but I think the defenses both play well here. I had this first to 20 wins. I think it's like a 20-16 type of game. I'm on the under. Chargers have been a great under team this season.
Under all day. Like I said, and both defenses are pretty solid. Dennis Allen can coach some defense. They've had their moments where they've given up plenty, but that's the strength of their team. And Rattler's still in the learning curve, and they're not taking a lot of shots. They're throwing a bunch of balls and playing sideways football, which we've seen in the past, but the other guy in the past doesn't miss throws. So I just don't think they're overly explosive, and I think this is an under game. I like the Chargers at home, but to me the safer bet is taking the under. I don't think there's a whole lot of
– This is the game I stayed away from, Jeff. This is the game that I literally did not pick on. I don't know. You don't know what game – you don't know who shows up. I think Olave's done. I think Shaheed is done. You got no Derek Carr. And then the Saints defense shows up. What offense do you get from the Chargers, Sean, Jeff? I stay away from this one. So.
And they're going to try to grind it out and shorten the game, which is Harbaugh's special all the time. I just think this reeks of a lower scoring game. Under. Not explosive. I got the under as well.
I agree. Next one is the Bears Commanders. Caleb Williams returns home to D.C. where he's from. Taking a 4-2 Bears team to Washington, where Jaden Daniels, I believe, will get the nod. This, Jeff, is over under 46, +1 for the Bears. I'm going to take the Commanders today, and Jaden Daniels is going to play. He must be healthier than we think, or he wouldn't have got the nod, in my opinion. So that being said, it's going to be an interesting one, but I'm going to take Washington to win this by at least a field goal.
Yeah, Commanders have looked really good, really on both sides. You get Daniels back. The defense has only given up 21 points a game. Bears have some injuries in the secondary. 2 good young quarterbacks. That said, I like Daniels a little bit more. They're 5-1 against the spread, the Commanders. A lot of people are saying, well, they haven't played anybody, but the defenses look good. They've answered all comers. They're at home here. Just having a win. I like the Commanders.
I love the guts of the young quarterbacks too. Both these guys are building something. They are, and they're exceeding even expectations as rookie quarterbacks. They're playing good football, and the Bears are like JB, you mentioned, 4 playoff caliber teams. Somebody's going to fall by the wayside, you'd think. But look at the quarterback play. Darnold's played well. Goff's played well. Jordan Love plays good football, and Caleb Williams has done a hell of a job of elevating. Give me Washington in this one. When it's basically a pick'em game, Washington at home. Jaden Daniels is accurate with the football. I got Washington straight up on this one.
I'm with you on that. Let me dive into this next one, which is the Chiefs Raiders. Before we get to the last few, the Chiefs Raiders. The Raiders have played them well consistently. Antonio Pierce is the last team to beat the Chiefs, ironically. But this is a Raider team that just seems to be hit the wall, Jeff. Over under is 42. This is a 8.5 point spread. Chiefs minus 8.5 seems a little lofty, but the Raiders have 0 offense. They lose Devontae Adams. They can't run the football. They have a bunch of nobodies at wide receiver. They got a good tight end. Another tight end quit on them, it seems like. I don't know where this Raider team is. It seems like they're throwing Antonio Pierce up for Sharks to grab. And this seems like a firestorm brewing in Vegas. Sean's favorite team growing up. So where you guys at with this one?
Yeah, I'll short and sweet here. Anything above a touchdown, I'll take the Raiders. Patrick Mahomes, look, for as good as he is and as much I like him, he's just not been very good laying points to divisional opponents, especially laying more than 7 points. He's 5-10-2 on the road, laying more than a touchdown in his career. Just not what I want. I'm not interested. And yes, the Raiders haven't been great, but I think they have a decent defense. They can run the football at a decent level. The Chiefs, I like, but I'm not trying to lay more than a touchdown ever with them. It's just a fade always with Patrick.
I'm going to take the opposite in this one. I've watched the Chiefs flounder around at times offensively this year. They hear it, and at some point in time, they've had one where Mahomes, I think he's thrown for 300 yards once or twice this year, but that it's not even the yards. It's the efficiency of running it, throwing it. And I look at the Raiders. I don't know where they scoring on the Chiefs defense. The Chiefs defense is the strength of their team, not named Patrick Mahomes. It just is. I think this is, and you said, what's the number? You said 40, what? 42 or something?
It's 40. It's 42.
Yeah. I don't see, I think this is like 27-10, 27-30. And I'm a Raider fan. Until the Raiders prove to me they can sustain 4 quarters of good play against anybody, let alone a really good defense. I don't care where the game's being played. Give me the Chiefs. The Chiefs will continue to prove that they get in. This will look a little prettier for them. Chiefs win the football game. Mahomes will have a good game, and their defense will shut down the Raiders. And I hate saying it as a Raider fan. Chiefs are a better team. This one is, I think, a double-digit victory. And I have 2 games in here that I think are double-digit victories. This one in Detroit. I don't like that, but I don't trust the Raiders' offense at all against a really good
DeAndre Hopkins is going to play as well.
And that's a red zone fade route waiting to happen. And the defense, how are you going to deal with all the looks that Spagnuolo is going to give them? The Raiders haven't proven to me they can move the football.
Yeah. Last couple games real quick before everyone get their picks in. Head on over to BetUS today and use the promo code CoachJB and get a 150% bonus. You can get them in. You got 3 minutes. Get your picks in right now. Panthers, Broncos. I'm picking the Broncos defense to shut this team down. Bryce Young's getting a start again. This is an over-under 40.5 plus 11 spread for the Panthers. It is what it is. I'm taking the over-under. I'm taking the under in this game, though. I'm taking the under. Denver's defense is too good. Panthers' offense is going to struggle. Bryce Young hasn't played. The Red Rifle is hurt in a car accident. Glad his family's okay, but this is just a dumpster fire in Carolina. I'm taking the under in this one, 41, under 41. Where you guys at?
I think, to me, this is my favorite play of the late window. I have the under as well. This screams, 24-10, 21-9 to me. Guys, understand, Bryce Young is back, and he needed a car accident to get an opportunity. Bryce Young's a failure. He's not any good. We all know it. The kid's a mess. Look, if Andy's in there, it's a different story, but this is a great Bronco defense. Bryce Young, where's his confidence at? I mean, he was essentially benched in the worst team in the NFL.
I don't think he has any wideouts either. I think Thielen's out. I think Deontay Johnson's out.
I think there's also a bet you can make at BetUS, team total under 14.5 for the Panthers seems a bit high. I mean, how do they score in this game? If I could bet, will they get shut out today? I would consider it. It'd be a decent, maybe plus 400, plus 500. I'd take a shot with that. I think the Panthers are dreadful.
I got the Broncos under lock of the week for me.
Lock of the week.
They got the take the under in this game. I don't know how Carolina's going to score. I'll take the Broncos, and I think it's lock of the week.
All right, the evening game, game of the week apparently, but there's 2 teams that we thought would be much better. Cowboys, Niners, over 48, over under 48, plus 6. Cowboys are plus 6. I'm taking the over in this one, just so you know. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think both teams are going to score. I think both teams' defenses are dismal at this point. I think that either team can stop anybody, and I think that both teams can get hot and score points. So I like the over in this one. I'm taking the over. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't have much in this game. I'm not a big fan of this Niner team. Just something seems off about them. They're, again, very beat up right now, not healthy. Cowboys, look good at times, look real bad at times. Again, 2 maligned defenses, though. We finally don't have to watch the Steelers on primetime, which I'm kind of happy about. This should be a great game. I had it first to 30 wins. I think it's a shootout as well.
Yeah, over in this game. Purdy did not play well last week. I expect him to play a lot better this week. They're getting some weapons back defensively. Neither team's getting the stops that they normally would. I mean, that they've got in the past when Parsons and Quinn were, the whole group in Dallas. And how can you trust the Cowboys to stop anybody right now, road or home? Give me San Francisco to win the game. I wouldn't bet that, but I would bet the over in this game if I was taking one.
Get your picks in right now, guys. Go get your picks in, and make sure that you use the promo code CoachJB at BetUS. Tell them Sean and JB sent you. Sean, real quick, tomorrow night's game. We got those games in. Everybody go make your picks. Tomorrow night's game, Steelers, Giants. Who knows what to expect here? Russell Wilson played well, opened up that offense. According to Mina Kimes, that couldn't happen, but it did happen. And it made the offense look much better for the Steelers, and that was their best offensive output. I expect the same thing to continue, even though the Giants' defense is very, very formidable and very good. The Eagles exploited them last week with Saquon Barkley, who they let get away, which I know the owner must have been in there about to just shoot himself. Where are you at with this game tomorrow? I believe it's a it's a -5.5 Pitt, 36.5 over under. I guess all the money is probably on Pittsburgh, Jeff. So I'm interested to hear your take.
There is. All the money is on Pittsburgh, and look, for good reason. Russell Wilson looked great. This offense finally got going. Defense continues to be very solid. I mean, there's really only one way to go but up with the Giants. But can they really? Do they have any playmakers outside of maybe Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson, Daniel Jones? I mean, the strings kind of run out on him. Can he move the ball on the road against another good defense? I don't want to be on the Steelers, but I kind of want to be. I mean, the Giants just look dire at this point. I think this kind of reminds me a little bit too of the Panther Bronco game. The Steelers, great defense, pretty good offense, good quarterback now under center against a bad offense. I think this could be a good under 36, 24-7, 21-10, something like that.
Well, I would agree. Steelers defense dominates and they'll make enough plays. I think the Steelers, I'd take them in the bet too. I think they'll handle the Giants in, 27-14 type of game, 23-10, 23-13. Yeah, I think the Steelers defense dominates, and Russ was a shot in the arm for them last week after a dismal start, picked it up and took care of his business.
No doubt. Another great show, fellas. I love it. Love the banter, barbershop banter, and that's what the disagreements create. Great conversation, and you're getting a legendary quarterback to talk it. You're getting a legendary better to talk it, and you're getting a legendary shit talker who hangs 2 inches from the ground talking it. That's me, not Sean. So shout out to everybody.
Great stuff, guys. Love
your locks of the week, real quick. Reminders, your locks
were Denver's under. Denver game under, and I think Detroit's a lock as well.
Yeah, I got the Indy +5 and the Browns +8.5.
I got those two as well. So shout out to you guys. We'll just keep growing this show. Appreciate everybody. Head on over to BetUS. We'll see you next Sunday. Sean, enjoy it. Have a beer. A little cloudy here. I'm staying home today, and I'll stay here in the cigar lounge. Sean,
love you too. Great stuff, man. I love the band.
All right, you've never been to, Sean, by the way. Thanks.
What's that? Thanks
Never
for the invite,
here.
brother. Yeah, great to see you too, bud. I'll just go out in my backyard and cook for myself. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
All right, guys. I'll see you next week.
The last chance cube. Let's go. And I just cannot wait to bring over 60 years of knowledge and experience to not only the novice football fan, Sean, but to the veteran football coach as well.
You love it. You better live it, drink it, eat it, smoke it, and then every now and again wake up with it laying next to you.
The premier football coaching show on the internet.
I've looked forward for the long